Tyler put SI. Does that mean okay? Okay, good. All right, thank you. That's good. So I don't. Sorry, just to, I don't want to be annoying. Keep asking, but again, like I said, I've little I have little faith here in this stuff. Okay, so let's talk about physical properties. So I mean, when we write a note here, we can copy things out of the textbook, but often I just like to put them in my own words so that I can kind of better understand things. So let's see here. Physical properties. These are properties that you can determine using your five senses. Smell, touch, color, state, sound. I mean, like kind of etc. here. I could probably list out about 5,000 of them. So smell, touch, color, and state. And these are actually, they're called qualitative properties, like they're a quality of something. So let's put are called qualitative properties. Okay, so there's also some quantitative ones. So there's some numbers that can be associated with things like how heavy is it, what temperature is it at, what's its volume. So let's put quantitative, like quantities. That's how I sort of remember these. Quantitative, yeah, spelled it right. Properties. Are numbers you can measure, like mass, volume, temperature. I'm sure there's others too, and temp. So to wrap this up here, there's also like a couple sort of keywords that we'll see. So brittleness was one that was mentioned in our reading. Brittleness, hardness, flexibility. I'll just leave it at that. So those are some ones that will describe a physical property. I think it said in our book here that glass was brittle, so that would be a physical property of it. Maybe one other thing I should mention here is that no new substance is formed. That was maybe a key part. Maybe that should have been the first thing I put, but we'll put it last here. No new substance is formed. So you break glass. Now you have two pieces of glass. They're still both glass. They're still both pieces of glass. So it still falls into the physical realm. Talk about solubility, about things dissolving in water. I mean, that's all good and fine, but we're not going to talk about that too much, if at all. So chemical properties. We'll get to that in a moment here. Okay, so 5.3 we also did here. chemical properties. These are a little more exciting. I like to say these are found through experimentation. So you got to actually do something to find a chemical property. So I guess maybe some of the questions you might ask here are, is the substance so is it flammable? Whoa, what happened there? So is the substance flammable? If it is, that would be a chemical property. Does it combust? Does it explode? Is it combustible? Does it react with stuff? So I already put, is the substance flammable, combustible? Maybe I'll just put here, does the substance react with, again, you'd have to test this, and sort of the common ones would be, does it react with water, acid, oxygen? So if maybe something reacts with water, it would rust. Believe it or not all metals rust, I guess. There are some stainless steels out there. That's more of a mixture of metals, but, when metals come in contact with acid, they actually do react. They they create hydrogen gas. And metals can also react with oxygen, and they can corrode, or silver might tarnish. So anyway, those are some chemical properties that you might come across. Like flammable combustibility, that's sort of the most common ones and most exciting. So we do have one more worksheet for you, which should be pretty short. Again, if you can print it off, that would be good. But I will open it on the website. Again, I hope everybody that's come to the meeting here, make sure you go to D2L. Again, that's how I'm taking attendance, is you going to there. In fact, some people showed up to our class later in the day yesterday, so I was able to go back and mark them present as actually being in class. I assume they went on the website and looked at the work. So I'm going to hop back to the website now. And again, hopefully you guys can see this. The second last thing on here, I didn't number it, is called Physical Phys Chem Properties Worksheet. This seems like it's going to be pretty fast here. Well, we got a bunch here. Okay, so why don't I give you, it's 135 right now. I guess you're probably, if you can print it off, great. If not, you're going to have to copy it down, but you can just put like, I don't know, something like this. So let's say you're writing out this worksheet here and you write color blue, and you have to decide, is that a physical property of something or is that chemical? So remember, these are using our senses, and these are found through experimentation. So all you got to do is put a check mark beside the one you think. So the color blue, well, I feel like I find that through my senses, so I can just put a check mark there. The density of something, that's a number. That's a physical one. You can check that off. Okay, so why don't you guys go through this, and you can check those ones off, and then there's another worksheet on the back side. There's some more down here. And again, just write them out. I'll give you like 10 minutes, and we'll take it up, and then we'll call that our first day of chemistry in the books. So you guys can work on that for now. If you're done faster than 10 minutes, by all means, you can check the answers. All right, why don't we take up this first sheet here? I can move the thing so you guys can see it. Okay, let's see. So we're the second Sorry, we're talking about flammability here, so that to me sounds like a chemical property. You know, does it burn or not? Does it dissolve in water? So again, your first thought might be it's a chemical property because you're doing a test, but it's actually just like sort of changing state, if you will. So it's actually a physical property. Something boils at 100 degrees. As soon as you see a number, it's got to be a physical property. Scratches glass is about hardness, so that's a physical property. You know, sour is your taste, one of your senses, so that's a physical property. Rusting would be reacting with water, so that's a chemical property. Does the metal rust? Do fireworks explode? Yeah, they sure do, so that's a chemical property. The melting point of something is a number, and when we see numbers, we know that those are physical. Now, the next two, we use the word react. When I see the word react, immediately that's telling me it's a chemical property. Some kind of experiment has been done, some kind of reaction has been done. We've got hardness, which is one of our physical property. In fact, the last here are all physical property. So how hard is it? What temperature does it boil? What number? The luster and the odor. So there's the front side of our sheet. Now all you got to do is write, you know, physical or chemical change. There's quite a few here. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes if you. Hopefully you've gotten ahead of this though. Okay. So we've had our 10 minutes now to work on this. So silver tarnishes when it comes in contact with hydrogen sulfide. So there sounds like there's some kind of reaction. Oh, what happened there? Sounds like we've got some kind of reaction going on. So this has got to be a chemical property of the substance. I'm just going to put C for chemical. Well, I'll write chem here, and then every other one's going to be C. A banana is yellow. It would be a physical property. I'm seeing what color it is. A sheet of copper can be pounded into a bowl. That is ductility, or not ductile, but malleable. That's the word I'm looking for. Barium melts at 725. That's a number, so we're talking about a physical property. Gasoline is flammable. There's your keyword. That is a chemical property. A diamond is the hardest natural substance, so hard is about physical. Helium does not react with any other element. It would be a chemical property. It's non-reactive. Usually we're looking for reactive, but this is proving that it's not reactive. A bar of lead is more easily bent than a bar of aluminum of the same size. Bending is a physical. We still have aluminum bars or lead bars before and after. 9. Potassium metal is kept submerged in oil to prevent contact with water because it will explode. That is a chemical property. An apple will turn brown if left in oxygen. So the oxygen is working on it. There's some kind of reaction going on there. So it is a chemical property. Diamond dust can be used to cut or grind most other materials. That's about hardness. So that's a physical one. Acid in tomato sauce can corrode aluminum foil. That sounds like a chemical reaction to me. So that's got to be a chemical property. Rocks containing carbonates can be identified because they fizz when hydrochloric acid is applied. That sounds like an experiment to me. That must be a chemical one. A piece of charcoal, which is mostly carbon, glows red, gives off heat, and becomes gray ash. That is a chemical experiment all the way, so chemical. Ice melts when warmed up. So that would just be changing states. You still have water. That's a physical. Clothes dry off when left on a clothesline. Also sounds physical to me. That's the act of evaporation. 17, iron rusts. So there's some kind of reaction. So that is a chemical. Acid reacts with metal to form an explosive gas. Also an experiment. And wood burns into ash. So we have a new substance there. We've got a chemical change. And lastly, apple smells like apple. That's your classic physical change. So hopefully you got all those. Hopefully you had time to copy it down or print it off or something. I don't know. But anyway, that wraps it up, kids. Any questions?